Hello. Have you ever wondered why quitting smoking seems like an impossible battle? Despite all the health warnings and repeated advice, many smokers find it hard to quit. Smoking is not just a habit, it is a complex psychological and physical addiction. The cigarette becomes part of the daily routine and is associated with many daily activities, making it extremely difficult to give up. So is quitting smoking really impossible? Or is it like any acquired habit that we can easily get rid of? Welcome to Ask Away channel, and today we will answer the question, why is quitting smoking hard? But before we start, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell to get our latest videos first. Smoking, in general, is the leading cause of lung cancer and cardiovascular diseases. According to the World Health Organization, no product in the world kills its users like smoking. Indeed, most cigarette packs are labeled with tobacco causes painful death. The truth is, most smokers want to quit, and many have tried once or more, but they give up at the first obstacle. This brings us to a very important point. Quitting smoking often takes more than one attempt, and one of the most significant symptoms associated with quitting is what is called withdrawal. People who try to quit smoking face more than one type of withdrawal. The first type is physical withdrawal, which is a feeling of discomfort that occurs when we stop taking any substance the body has become accustomed to. In the case of smoking, this substance is nicotine, found in tobacco. Nicotine is one of the most challenging drugs to overcome. If you think smoking is not a type of addiction, I'm sorry to tell you that you're addicted to cigarettes without realizing it, specifically to the nicotine inside them. Nicotine is a substance that easily reaches the brain and provides a short-term sense of comfort. Unfortunately, after a while, the cigarette that used to satisfy you no longer has the same effect, so you need to smoke 2 or 3, and for some people, it can reach 20 cigarettes a day or more. When you try to stop taking nicotine, withdrawal symptoms appear, which include nervousness, irritability, lack of concentration, severe headaches, and a feeling of fatigue. Due to these symptoms, the person has a strong desire to go back to smoking. These symptoms usually start in the first hours after smoking the last cigarette and are most severe during the first few days, but they gradually decrease and disappear completely, and the body becomes entirely clean from all the symptoms caused by nicotine over time. The second type of withdrawal is called psychological withdrawal, which happens because the cigarette has become part of the daily routine of any smoker's life and is linked in their mind to drinking coffee, eating, or talking on the phone. This makes it hard and requires great effort from the person to succeed in getting rid of it. Every time they see a cup of coffee, they want a cigarette. Every time they talk on the phone, they want a cigarette. Every time they perform an activity they used to associate with smoking, it reminds them of cigarettes. This causes emotional disturbances like boredom, frustration, sadness, and sometimes depression. But after the person gets through this phase, their body starts to improve, regains its strength, and returns to its normal state. Again, these symptoms usually start in the first hours after smoking the last cigarette and are most severe during the first few days, but they gradually decrease and disappear completely over time, and the body becomes entirely clean from all the symptoms caused by nicotine. Let's take a tour inside the body of someone who just stopped smoking to see the radical change that happens and how the body sets a self-treatment plan and begins to implement it immediately. After the first 20 minutes of quitting smoking, the heart rate returns to its normal state, and the level of nicotine that was constricting the blood vessels starts to decrease. After 2 hours, warmth begins to return to the hands and feet, and blood pressure starts to regulate automatically, allowing blood to flow normally to areas it couldn't reach before due to narrowed blood vessels. After 12 hours from the last cigarette, the blood oxygen level starts to improve, as the level of carbon monoxide decreases gradually and oxygen takes its place. After the first 10 days of not smoking, the following happens. The risk of a heart attack and cardiovascular diseases in general significantly decreases, and the person regains their sense of smell and taste, as smoking affects these two senses greatly. The body gets rid of all the absorbed nicotine. After the first month of success, the lungs begin to improve and the risk of lung diseases decreases because the cilia inside the lungs, whose main function is to expel foreign bodies and secrete mucus that prevents the work of parasites, are back in action. With smoking, these cilia take a break, but after 9 months of quitting, the cilia return to their work optimally. After a full year, the likelihood of the person developing coronary artery disease is reduced by half, and the risk of cancer decreases by 50%. If you are a smoker and watching us now and thinking seriously about quitting smoking, let me tell you that 75% of smokers want to quit. You may have tried once or more and failed, but as long as you have the intention and determination to stop smoking, here are some steps that, if followed, can lead to satisfactory results. Distract yourself whenever you feel the urge to smoke a cigarette. If you feel you need to smoke it now, talk to yourself and ask, what if I wait another 10 minutes and distract myself with something else? You can go eat something, meet someone, or do anything else. This method works for many people at the beginning. 2. Avoid triggering situations. Most smokers automatically reach for a cigarette in certain situations. In times of anger or stress, they light a cigarette with a cup of coffee. These habits should be avoided as much as possible. If you're used to drinking coffee with a cigarette, try eating something alongside your coffee like a piece of cake or a biscuit. If you talk on the phone for a long time and are used to smoking while talking, grab a piece of paper and a pen and keep yourself busy with writing. 3. Chew something. You can chew on vegetables like carrots or celery. You can also keep some nuts at home and eat them whenever you feel the urge to move your mouth instead of smoking a cigarette. 4. Try exercising. Exercise has many benefits, including reducing the urge to smoke. Look for a sport you enjoy and start practicing it regularly. 5. Try to relax. Since smoking is the first thing you think of when you face a problem that causes you stress, try to avoid any kind of psychological stress as much as possible so that your need for smoking completely disappears. 6. Seek support. It is not shameful to tell your close ones that you need their support and encouragement at this time. There are also websites that bring together people who are starting to quit and encourage each other and provide the necessary support. Finally, think about the benefits that will come to you. Tell yourself out loud, my health will be better. I will protect the people I love from the dangers of secondhand smoke. I will save the money I spend on cigarettes and use it for something I want. Always remember that any method you use to overcome the urge for tobacco is much better than not trying at all. Each time you resist, you are one step closer to your goal. I wish all smokers success in quitting smoking. So today we talked about why quitting smoking is hard, what happens to the body after quitting, and some tips for quitting smoking. What topics would you like to discuss in the upcoming videos?